with the president to brief members of the media.
Yeah.
While we were following, there was this news that broke about that the president was appointed as an advisory member of one of those panels. What does this mean for the country?
Listen, Ishmael, this president, Ishmael, this president is a serious president. This president is a workaholic. He's a serious management to get business done. And his counterparts within the region on the global stage, they recognize his significance and they see the job that he's doing back home and what he's doing to put Liberia back on the global stage. So I think it's a very, very, very laudable thing to say that His Excellency President was elected to be a part of this historical moment.
Definitely. And I let the party talk about this. Speaks volume of the country's level of recognition is getting within the region, the continent of Africa. That you have these serve, on the advisory panel because when you want to look at how significant an advisory panel with
The president really hope that his time spent at the presidency is going to leave a positive milestone on Liberia. So he's doing everything possible within his means and with the help of the Almighty to make sure that Liberia gets what she deserves. Her respect, or dignity as a nation, and make sure
And definitely. So the president of this great country, Liberians, your president is in country. He's in the VIP lodge at the Robertson International Airport. And now he go for debriefing with members of his cabinet. Here you have the Justice Minister
also in there.
In there, you have the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs. You have the head of the Executive Protection Service. You also have the Honorable Cooper W. Crad, the Minister of Labor, come to brief the president on what exactly were happening while he was out of the country. And after that time, the president will have time to speak to members of the media, where you entertain some questions. That talks about the level of engagement because it's important. Liberians want to know what exactly, the president said, as we've already indicated in our different commentaries.
So just to pick in the president's speech, some of the things he said, maybe we will say in paraphrases. The president mentioned that the slave trade was not merely a historical tragedy, it was a serious crime against humanity whose consequences continue to shape our world today.
Definitely.
Of course. You see,
it speaks to a high level of the psychological impact, so that every time when we go back to read those different history, you see how people were then, put place on chain, were then so like goose. The part they talk about is considered as the greatest crime against humanity, and that's why our president John able to receive an overwhelming endorsement, over 100 sign that those countries that were involved into the practice of enslaving Africans should be made to account
They should
for,
pay.
for some of their fellow human being, because for whatever reason, no matter how or race or certain group of people might feel sophisticated, that should not lead them to that point to trade human
Fellow
being,
human being.
for
You
common
should not be
things.
seen united for your creed. We are all equal, created by one creator.
Exactly.
And whatever, be it you're red, you're white, you're black, you're Caucasian, you're white, whatever your race or your religion or your ethnic background may be, you should not be subjected to such treatment that
For control things that one would ever want to imagine. So it's important that they have this time to tell them that, look, we've agreed that it have happened decades ago, but
but the Liberian leader used the platform to advocate for recognition that these countries responsible should recognize what they did. They should be accountable, and there should be restorative measures. And the president, President Boakai participated in the conference. It's just underscore Liberia's commitment to supporting the national. It gives room for reconciliation and equitable development for affected countries. The conference at the end of the conference, a renewed call for African